Hello, this is Fear Dragon, and welcome to Breaking Out, the show about North American StarCraft 2 players. Here on this show, we spend 1 week highlighting an up-and-coming North American player. Throughout the week, we find out more about the player's history, their personality, and their playstyle over the course of 6 short episodes. On Monday, we'll interview the player and find out more about them. Tuesday through Thursday, we'll watch a game from each of the various matchups casted by your very own Fear Dragon. On Friday, we'll check out a generally awesome game with some sick play, and on Saturday, we'll kick it back with the player and have some wacky fun with some randomly selected events like handicap ladder matches, karaoke, and dance contests. Each episode aims to be about 20 to 30 minutes long, so you can learn more about the North American StarCraft 2 scene without interrupting your busy WCS schedule. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, this is Fear Dragon coming at you with another episode of Breaking Out. Today I am joined here with Brendan, also known as Muratan. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing well, but that is totally not how you pronounce it. Muratan. Get it right, man. Gosh.
Good to know, Muratan, and we have a very exciting game on our hands here today because this is going to be the first game of the week for ROOTBones. And ROOTBones, it says Clarity Bones over here. And we're going to do the official introductions, but, his name is ROOTBones now because he actually joined the Root Seed Academy. But, this is, again, breaking out the show about North American StarCraft 2 players. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump in and introduce the players. And do you want to take it away with the first player introduction?
I sure do. So down here in the bottom left, we have our featured player, formerly of Clarity, now of Root, Mr. Bones.
And his opponent spawning up here in the top left-hand corner, the GM level Zerg player from Team Gravity. It is going to be Kratos.
That's a pretty sweet name. Just going to give it to him right now.
Dude, every single time I see his name, I think of Kratos. I just think of all the nerds he's going to be slaying, man. Like, you hear about nerd slayers, but this guy, like, embodies nerd slaying.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, he's clearly just got two crazy swords with ropes in the end, and he's just slashing people. You want to get cut in half? Well, I'm going to make that wish come true and cut you right in half.
Oh my god.
So it looks like, yeah, it's pretty sweet. Do you know if he's on Team Gravity, is this?
Yes, he is on Team Gravity.
Okay.
He's actually I have to say, like, he's one of the ace players on Team Gravity. He's a fantastic player. It was a lot of fun to watch. But I bet you he wishes he had those daggers right now, because this probe is going to be trying to block that natural expansion right now.
I mean, drones do have, like, these claws that kind of cut people in half.
That's true.
But, I mean, generally, any people are in big suits, so it doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
Kind of like, well, you know, if you didn't have that armor on, I'd cut you right in half. That's not how it works.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, but I just realized that drones are probably the closest thing that StarCraft has to a lobster.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the claws. In this case, they're red.
I think it used to be defilers, just because you looked at them.
Oh, that's so
it's
true.
It's clearly a lobster.
That's so true.
I don't know what else that evolved from, but
yeah,
it's obviously a lobster now. Back to the Protoss here, Mr. Bones. I'm just gonna call him Mr. Bones because this is way better. It's just one off. He's just going straight for a Forge expand, pretty standard, or formerly really standard. I'm not entirely sure if this is still all the rage. But I know I've been doing like gateway expands because they're way more fun.
Yeah, gateway expands have become a lot more common, and honestly, it's not too ridiculously uncommon to see these kind of Forge expansions instead. And I have to say, Bones is one of those players, and he kind of even said so in the interview. He's one of those players that plays really defensive. He just has that super standard and solid style. In fact, if I had to equate him to any other kind of like big other player that a lot of people know about, I would say he's very similar to SK Telecom 1's Rain, where he might even play extra safe in the early game, and he'll just make it up in the late game because he has a ridiculously solid and really great immaculate defenses in the late game.
Oh, that's awesome. I love players like that. And Bones here getting a good scout up on the third. He does know there's probably not going to be any aggression, so he can sit here and be as gritty as he likes for the time being. He's producing a Zealot. I wonder if he'll... Yeah, it looks like he's probably just going to use it for scouting. He's got it rallied away from his base. I see a lot of players like produce a Zealot and you just use it in their wall, but you really don't need it right now, especially if you see this third, so I really love this choice. Get the early scouting, maybe get them to make a couple lings, and then your Zealot's already worth it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you just lose out on so much potential if you be too defensive with the Zealot. But it looks like Bones, I mean, this is, I guess, going back to what we were saying earlier, Bones is sort of one of those players that's willing to maybe take a few sacrifices in terms of maybe economic damage he could do or aggression that he could have been doing, and just trade it off for the fact that he knows he can win out in the long-term game. And we're going to be seeing a Stargate coming out for Bones, which actually makes sense, because I don't know about you, but I know every single Protoss player that I have ever talked to hates Mutalisk.
Yeah, I do hate Mutalisk, and honestly, just if you're looking to play a long defensive style, going for a lot of Stargate units is completely awesome. You don't attack until you have like, you're thinking of taking your fourth, but you sit there on 3 bases for so long and build just this insane army. You know, whether you decide to add in carriers or tempests or whatever, mostly it's void rays, but you just build this insane air army and then go kill them with it. And honestly, it's just like this really strong style, and if it's played correctly, actually has backup plans. Like, you don't just lose an entire army if you play this right. You lose a couple of void rays and you just go home and take your fourth, and then just have a better army in the late game, because that's really the strength of Protoss at this point, just having better units.
Yeah, and oh my god, I just want to note, like, Bones did something really smart. He did a move out with his Zealot and his Stalker, just kind of barely poked his way into vision of the Zerg player, and look at how many freaking Zerglings he just forced out. He forced out, I think, 16 Zerglings, and as long as he actually gets back over here, he's going to lose the Zealot, but he's going to be able to at least take out some of these Zerglings, and I would say that was definitely worth it, man.
Oh yeah, he lost the Zealot. Like, as far as minerals goes, he's completely even. His gateway production at this point is not really all that important. He's just making a couple sentries to keep safe, and really his plan right here is just to build a bunch of Phoenixes. And he also forced his opponent into using all that money on Larva just to make Zerglings, which, you know, we talked about it. They ended up being useless. He lost 5 of those to kill a Zealot. Like, that's so not worth it. So really nicely done there by Bones. Very happy to see that. And now his Phoenix is even going to start picking off Overlords, just getting more and more ahead.
Oh yeah, he's even going to be able to find yet another Overlord up here in the top right-hand corner. Does he actually trigger? Oh, he's in vision, man. Oh, there we go.
Finally realizes it. Gonna murder that Overlord. Poor guy. And in the meantime, he's just going up to his robotics bay. Gonna be pumping out Colossi, which are awesome units. We all know it. They shoot laser beams. How could they not be awesome? And just gonna play as safe and standard as you can. Also producing Immortals right now, which is not something you always see. Just because Immortals can be very useless if your opponent goes for a lot of Hydralisks, which are being produced right now. But they're never really dead units, which is something I like about them.
Yeah, they're definitely very useful, especially just taking out a lot of those roaches that can often be used as a sort of a tanking spot. But actually, I don't even think we see a roach warren out on the map right now, so it's not going to be quite as effective as he would maybe like. But still, it's nice to have as just a defensive measure, because of course, Bones doesn't really have a good way of knowing exactly just yet that there is no roach warren.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, you just have to assume that building is made, because most Zergs do go for it. And really, you know, Kraos has just decided, hey, you know what? I don't want roaches. I just want only Hydra Ling. And Bones has kind of got the perfect tech to deal with that. Colossi are just so good versus both these units. And that's all we see from Kraos right now. He's also producing Void Rays, which are okay. You know, they're obviously not that great versus Hydralisks, but, you know, they're good support, and you might as well use your Stargate if you have it. So I really feel like Bones is just going to be in a great spot if Kraos goes for a big attack. I don't see him having very much trouble holding it off.
Yeah, right now we do have a War Prism moving out with 4 Zealots. It actually does get spotted by a Zergling, and at the same time, it looks like Kraos looking to get a little bit aggressive right now. Now, we do see that Bones is trying to kind of get some pylons set up, maybe looking to take that 3rd expansion soon, but hasn't actually taken it yet. And oh my god, Kraos, upon seeing all this, is just going to go ahead and back up. I think that he's afraid about a 2-base all-in right now, because, I mean, it's almost the 12-minute mark.
Yeah, I think that choice to not attack there is actually so excellent. I know a lot of players just be like, whatever, I got these units anyway, I'm attacking with them. No, don't do that. Oh my goodness, there's actually been a bunch of Zealots walked in here, getting some solid damage done. Workers killed right now, only 2, but, you know, whatever. He pulled a bunch of links back, he forced them to be made if those weren't already there, and, you know, keeps the pressure off his base. And I was talking about it before, like, the attack there from the Zerg would just be awful. You never, ever attack into a 2-base Protoss. As a 3-base Zerg, just don't do it. It's bad. You wait until they take the 3rd, then you go crush them. And that's what's happening right now. He's taking his 3rd, and now is maybe the moment to attack, but the army's not just sitting behind a huge wall. But, you know, there are 2 Colossi out now, which kind of put a stop to any Zergling Hydra aggression.
Yeah, I still think Bones got to be careful. Right now, the wall-in is actually not complete. Now the Zergons are just going to be going after that army, and actually a lot of them do end up getting roasted, so bit of a nice punishment actually move over there from Bones as he roasts a lot of Zerglings. Do we even know how many kills there are?
Well, you know, there's 31 units killed for the Protoss right now, so...
Oh, wow.
Pretty good. Only 2 of those are drones. I'm assuming the rest are Lynx. 29 Zerglings have just died for free. That's not a 0 amount. I will tell you right now. You know, it's more like 25 because earlier he did lose a couple. You say Kratos, however, is going for the mutas right now. So,
yeah.
You know, breaking out the Zerg Gimp attack.
I mean, they're a scary thing to deal with, but the Phoenix is actually still alive, so some nice control from Bones. He's going to have 6 Phoenixes. That should actually be enough to at least help deal with the Corruptors as well, but hold that thought. The Zerg's trying to go for the run by into the main base. He gets the Zealot Warp in just in time, but that's going to be under fire. At the same time, the Hydra's taking a lot of damage right now.
Yeah, those are some sick time... were they Time Warp or whatever from the Mothership Core?
Yeah,
just
Time
like
Warp.
the Claws did so much damage. Now the Phoenix is picking up Hydras, picking them off, and one Void Ray is still just going to town on these Corruptors. He has so much damage. 5 kills. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, but amazingly enough, we see all of the Colossus get cleaned up, a lot of the expensive units from Bones get cleaned up, but the Phoenix actually managed to clean up the remainder of the army. All the Hydras get picked off, and the Mutals count is also pretty low, and we still see more Mutals being made from Kratos. This is such an interesting decision when you see that literally the only unit that your opponent has left is Phoenix. Why would you make Mutalisks?
That is not the unit you really want, but he's just going for it, man, and you know, I think Bones has pretty much just called it. He's got 9 Phoenixes out right now. He's producing more, 2 at a time, and he's also, well, he's engaging a couple of mutas here, just killing 1, 2 for free, 3 for free. That is absolutely bad. It kills off this Corruptor too, which is pretty huge. Corruptors are really the unit that Kratos is going to need to deal with these if he does want to go air focus. But you know, we do see Anion Pulse Crystal, forgot the name there for a bit, being researched for the Protoss player here, and that just helps your Phoenixes so much versus Corruptors. Having the same range is a huge deal.
And he's actually even researching the +1 air weapons for those Phoenix, so they're easily going to be able to decimate large numbers of Mutalisks. But we see a little bit of a switch back into Hydra's tech, and I kind of like this a bit better from Kratos and continuing to produce some of those Corruptors. I mean, the Corruptors will also just be nice to stop the Colossus count from getting too high in the future, and also they do pretty well against Phoenix.
Yeah, they do. They certainly do. I really wish that Bones was producing a Colossus or 2. Like, just go to 3 Colossi, you know, kind of hedge your bets. We do see there's a bit of an engagement with these Phoenixes, just kind of taking out a bunch of stuff in the main here of Kratos. Doing a great job versus these Corruptors. You really can't just go Phoenixes, though. You kind of have to eventually branch out. You can't be pure Corruptor with Phoenixes.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting to see how many Phoenixes Bones is actually willing to get right now, but hold that thought, it looks like we might actually have a little bit of a timing coming up. I mean, we have +2 weapons and actually +1 air weapons finishing up for Bones right now, as well as Charge actually being researched. He's warped in a lot of Charge Zealots, and I mean, he could actually do a lot of damage over here. I mean, he's going to have better upgrades than his opponent. He's going to have a lot of Phoenix to deal with the Mutalisks and the Corruptor count, and Zealots will be able to sweep away the Zerglings.
Yeah, for sure. Zealots are actually a really good choice versus Mutalisks. Just don't do anything versus Zealots. They're kind of like, they just shrug it off and run forward. Yeah, wow. All these Corruptors just getting taken out right now. Oh, that's brutal. So many Corruptors dying for free. These Phoenixes just worth their weight in, I don't even know, like unobtainium. Like they're doing all the stuff. All the stuff. Also getting, what is this, +3? I love the new artwork. Well, it's not really new artwork, but it's been a while since I cast it. But I love that artwork. More upgrades. We do see a Ling run by in the 3rd here as well. This is doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, these Zergons are doing an absurd amount of damage. They were actually going after that probe line. They managed to kill almost all the probes off, and they tried to target fire down that Nexus. Weren't quite able to get it. But still, I mean, he's done a decent amount of economic damage. But, oh my god, look at this. Actually, I take it back. Bones has managed to keep most of those alive.
All the probes are just on these simulators. Like,
oh my god.
Like 23 probes on his simulator, just keeping all of them alive, and it was pretty much just, you know, Kratos throwing away a bunch of Lings, and now Bones is just going to keep doing so much damage with these Phoenixes. He's up to quite the count here at 20 Phoenixes. They absolutely just destroy everything in the air.
Yeah, that's an understatement right now, Brandon, as the Corruptors are going to get chase fired down again, and Hydras are going to show up in low numbers. And these Phoenix can
Just
actually
pick 'em
probably
up.
lift up. Yeah, they can lift up every single Hydrals and actually take this fight. Although that's a lot of Hydrals. He probably wants to back up just for the sake of being cost effective.
Yeah. He did lose 5 Phoenixes there, but killed so much, so it's really not that big of a deal. And at this point, producing a bunch of Archons and Zealots also has a couple Voiders. I think, just the one. But I'd really like to see him producing a... I've said it a couple times, but Colossi would be awesome right now.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting that we don't see that. But, you know, what we do end up seeing is that Kratos is still in a decent position because even though the Zealot run-bys and stuff have been really, really effective for Bones, Bones has an absurd number of Phoenix to do harassment with. Kratos has a lot of bases, man. He's some pretty good income, and with 88 drones, he's going to be feeling pretty comfortable, maybe. This has turned into sort of a defensive game, but both these players sort of just putting on light bits of aggression.
Yeah, and speaking of Zealot run-bys, there was one just over here at the far east base of Kratos. Got down to about half health, just went right for the hatchery. Was cleaned up by some lings, but really, that's going to be a lot easier to pick off at some point. And I did see him building a Dark Shrine at one time, so maybe that finished.
Oh!
Huge fungals on all those Phoenixes. Those are insane. Keeps up the fungals. I think this is just going to be really good for the Zerg. A nice concave for the Hydralis to just destroy everything.
Oh my god, when you fungal growth the Phoenix like that, they are unable to do damage. I mean, there's no air units to be attacking. None of your Phoenix can even lift up the Infestors to stop and more fungal growths from going down. And the Hydralis just decimated and with +2 Carapace upgrade, no weapons upgrade. But we're going to have to see. This is going to be another engagement. This time it looks a little bit more in Kratos, or in the Protoss player's favor.
Yeah. Bones hitting a much better engagement here. Now these guys have Charge Zealots and Archons. Now lifting up just Hydras with his Phoenixes, but able to pick them off. And the Zealots are chasing down the Infestors. Only, no fungals left in these, so they just have to run, and the Phoenix is going to come pick them all up. I think all of the Infestors are dying. There we go, GG. That's pretty silly. Mass Phoenix, man.
Wow.
Silly but effective.
That was actually a really, really fun game to see because we do not really see Phoenix in that number. And man, that is actually one of the scariest. The end part right there is one of the scariest part about Phoenix is that you can lift them up and you can lift up Infestors and Hydrals and everything and just invalidate them in the army. But not only that, but you cannot run from Phoenix, man.
No, they're so fast. They just pick up these poor little Infestors like they're nothing, and you know, even if they're not killing them themselves, the rest of the army walks up and the Archons just blow them right out of the sky. And it's pretty brutal to watch, but also really fun.
Oh, I definitely enjoy it, man. But with that being said, a really, really sick game from Root Seeds' Bones. Again, says Clarity Gaming over here, but it's actually Root Seed. He is now the captain of Team Root Seed, and we're going to be watching more of his games throughout the week. And hopefully we'll actually have Brandon on for some more of those casts. But guys, this is the PvZ episode of the day. Hopefully you all will decide to tune in tomorrow for the PvT episode. And that's going to be happening at 9 p.m. Pacific and midnight Eastern time zone over on twitch.tv/FearDragon64. If you miss it, you can always catch the VOD over at youtube.com/FearDragon64. But, I mean, Brandon, where can people catch you at?
Well, right now I'm not actually getting to do too much stuff, but you can always just follow me on Twitter at Muataran. It's MUATARAN. I do a lot of I do a lot of StarCraft and Magic. Kind of just tweeting about what I'm doing.
Magical StarCraft.
Magical StarCrafts, exactly. Hopefully I can start streaming a bit more soon when my internet gets better, which has just kind of been the problem for me lately, which is sad, but once that starts happening, catch me at Twitch, twitch.tv/Muataran, MUATARAN. Hope to see you guys there. Yeah.
It's been wonderful to have you on, man, and hope you guys all decide to tune in tomorrow. Hope you have a wonderful night, and be sure to actually follow Root Seeds' Bones over in the chat right now in Twitch. If you're watching it live right now, you can actually see all the links that I'm posting in regards to Bones' team, of course his own Twitch and his own Twitter account, etc. And if you're watching this on YouTube, it should be just below the video, so please go ahead and click those links and check him out. He's a fun player to watch, and you're going to be seeing a lot more from him in the future, I guarantee it. But with that being said, have a wonderful night, guys, and see you tomorrow.